Hi, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Disability Awareness Podcast. In this episode, I want to share with you guys my story on how I acquired my disability, or how I became a person with disability. So, uh, people ask me a lot, like, were you born like this? Or it's something that just happened? Were you sick or something? And basically, what happened, I was born a normal child. I don't know if normal is the right word, but I was born normal, fully sighted. I could see, I could do everything. Like, I was just normal. But then at around the age of 13 years is when now, like, people around me realized that there was a problem with my eyes. And I would say, like, you see, myself, I don't know. When I was born, my mother abandoned me, like, when I was a small child, such that I do not have a memory of living with her or staying with her. So I was brought up by my grandmother, who died in 2002, 2003. I'm not even sure of the year, but at that time I was very young. I was in nursery school when she died. So after she died, I was left under the care of my uncle. My uncle used to take care of me together with my cousin, and we used to live with my cousin, the same house with now our grandmother. But now when she died, now it's me and my cousin, and then my uncle used to provide. Then after some time, my cousin was in class 6. Yeah, and then she became pregnant, and now at this time she had, like, to leave home. One of the relatives took her in, because now, you see, being pregnant, she was definitely a child, so she needed someone to take care of her. So she was taken by a relative of ours. Then I was left now by myself. After some time, my story is just a lot. My uncle used to work in Nairobi. So he used to come to Nairobi, and then on weekends come travel back to Meru. So at some point he got a wife, or I would say a girlfriend, in Nairobi. So the wife who used to stay at home was chased away. Like, she had to go back to her home. And of course she went away with her kids. So I was left by myself. There was an uncle who used to stay around, but I would say he was very abusive. Like, he used to beat me up, like, ask me, like, oh, he used to call me Kirote. Kirote, I want water. Like, I want water to shower. Then if I delay even by 1 minute, he just comes and starts beating you up. Like, what are you doing? I asked for water. So the uncle was abusive. But after some point, well, I should have said that my grandfather was polygamous. So one of the wives, now I would say it's also a grandmother, took me in. So I used to stay with her. We stayed with her for a while. Then when the uncle came from Nairobi, he brought the new wife now, home. Then he took me in, so I had to move houses. I moved from my grandmother now to stay with my uncle and the new wife. So, and also at some point, the other wife, like the first wife, died. So the two cousins who had gone away with her, came now, rejoined us. Now we used to stay, myself, the two cousins, my uncle, and the new wife. Hey, yeah, life was not easy. Like, it was just something else. You see, now you're staying with your auntie. Like, it's not your parents, and you understand how the African, like, families are. So life was not easy. But now it was at this time, while I was staying with them, it was at this time when I realized well, I had eyesight problems, but I didn't know. You see, I am a child. I didn't know. So at some point, even we could go and play around with my cousins at my grandfather's home. And I remember there's a day we were doing this game of like close your eyes. We were testing whose eyes can see most. So we were just closing our eyes. You place your hand on one eye, and then you tell like what are you able to see. Such it was just a game. So that day. Now is when I think about it, I'm like, kumbe, it's because I couldn't see. So that time I remember when I closed my right eye, the left eye couldn't see. But now, you see, now I have the mind of a child. So what I said to my other cousins was, oh, this left eye is playing games like inakulia the right eye in Jaro. Like it's playing games with with the right eye. It doesn't want to see. So, and we laughed it off. We are kids, for heaven's sake. So that just passed. But then at around, when I was around class 6 in 2007, it's when now my eye problems like became a thing because I used to be number one all the time. But now I started now becoming number three, number four, 10. You see, now I am dropping in class, my grades are not as good, and now my teachers are concerned, like what is happening. But also when they observed closely, they noticed my handwriting was also changing. I could write, I miss the boxes. When you're doing mathematics, you miss the boxes. When you do the handwriting, it's slanting, you miss the line. So one day they just called me to the staff room and they were like, uh, where is Mrs. So and so? Like, try to trace a teacher. I took time, like, locating them, and that is why they knew there's a problem. So they asked me what is going on, and then I explained, and then the school just organized and they took me to the hospital. Um, this was my first now time to go to the. No, it was not the first time. I remember I used to wear glasses, but part of my memory, like it's just fade away. I don't remember most of the things, but I know I used to wear glasses. But what now prompted the need for glasses, I don't remember. But I used to wear them and I didn't like them. Most of the times I just used to see the way they put for you a string here so that it doesn't drop. I used to just have them hanging because I didn't like them. Like, what was that? And then other times I'm just cleaning and I remove them, I place them aside. But because, of course, my eyesight is terrible and I don't know, well, I don't know why I did so. I could just step on them, you see. So, when I went to the hospital, now let's fast forward. When I went to the hospital, the doctor was like, your left eye is gone, but the right eye can be saved. And then he said you're suffering from something that is called glaucoma. Glaucoma like is a disease that damages your optic nerve. It eats the optic nerve such that becomes weak and it's unable now to relay like the information or the sight. I am not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, so I am not able to explain. But it just what it does, it just damages your optic nerve. So the doctor was like, the right eye can be salvaged. So he just said, I would like you to have surgery on your right eye, and then we see whether we are able to save it. Because then I could see, I could walk around by myself, and yeah. So I went back home, went back to school. I did not know what was supposed to happen next because you see, uh, I am a child. I'm a poor child. Like you don't have parents, so like, and it's my uncle was not like too much involved, so the school took it upon themselves. Like the teachers just did some contributions, they raised the money, and then I was brought to Kikuyu Eye Hospital in Nairobi. So that is where my surgery happened. They did the operation. The operation was successful in that I woke up Yes, I woke up. I still could see. I woke up seeing. So the doctor was like, we've done the operation. Let's check and see like what happens next. So you see, you are released. I stayed there for a few days, and then I was released. Then went back home, went for the first appointments, and then when I went for like the final now appointment is when my the doctor was like, with this side, it's not like advisable for her, like now me, to go back to the normal school that I used to go to. So the doctor said, I recommend you take her to the special school. Now at this time, the person who brought me to the hospital, this I'll tell you in a different story. Um, well, they now is my guardian. That time was a teacher. So the teacher who had brought me was like, which schools can we take her? So the teacher asked, the doctor helped around. He was like, we can call. The first option, of course, was Thika, but now I remember the teacher saying, you see, she's not from a very good family, like in terms of money and everything. And even if we were to help, Thika will be far. Like you see, traveling from Meru to Thika and all that. Then she was like, do we have a closer school? Then the doctor was like, yes, there's a school in Meru, Igoji. It's called St. Lucy's. And at that time, I remember it's even the doctor who called. The doctor called the school. The sister was like, yeah, she can come. This was now the April holiday. The sister was like, she can come in May, she can report, we are opening schools in May, she can come and everything. So everything was just planned. When we went back to Meru, me, I knew I am going back to my home. I told you guys I'll tell you this story another day. Let's concentrate on me being blind. So when we went back home, I just stayed with my guardian for a while. Of course they had to monitor, and you see with glaucoma things like smoke, dust, like doing heavy chores, and you've just come from being operated on, is those ones like they are not good for someone with a glaucoma, especially smoke and dust. They are triggers, like the eyes can just start tearing all through. So the teacher was like, I am not taking you back home. You just stay here for a while. And of course, also I was supposed to be going back to Nairobi for appointments, and still it's the holiday. So I stayed with her, and yeah, then it came to a time when now the schools were opening. Supposed to go back to school. I did not know anything. But then, you see now, they had already booked for me a spot or a slot in St. Lucy's. So the teacher like looked for, like she looked for means to have me go to now the special school. I want to believe, I don't know what exactly was done, but some teachers contributed. Someone would like buy me a box, the other one would like buy me school sweaters, the other one would offer to pay school fees, such things. And yeah, just through contributions and everything, I was taken to school. I went to St. Lucy's. Hey, now when I go to St. Lucy's, like my first experience was really bad. I wasn't happy at all because first it felt like I was being thrown away. You see, you're used to staying at home with people, but now you are being taken to a boarding school. You don't know anyone. You cannot seek. Well, I could walk by myself, but I couldn't see well. Yeah, I could tell this is a person. I could tell this is an object. This is color red. This is pink. This is blue. I could still see, but not so good for to survive in a normal regular school. So when I went to St. Lucy's, I cried. I was like, "Why are you bringing me here? Now I'm gonna be staying here. Nobody's going to come pick me." But my guardian, now the teacher, reassured me. She was like, when schools close, I'm going to come for you. I am not going to abandon you here and everything. So she just reassured me. Actually, they had to hide, and I was taken to the dormitory, and then they had to hide because I was really stubborn. I didn't want to be left at the school. Yeah, and yeah, that is how I just it was. The first days, I was just a crybaby. I used to cry all the time at school. Like people are just playing, but me, I'm crying. Now, what made me stop crying? One day, I was just seated at the stairs, I remember, and I was just crying. Like I used to, I don't know, it was self-pity or something. Self-pity, yeah, upward. Self-pity. I was wallowing in self-pity. So that day I was just seated crying at the staircase. And one girl, she was in class 3. Mind you, I'm in class 6. She came and she was like, why are you crying? As we are children, we are not crying. Like them, they are kids, they are not crying. They cannot see and they are not crying. But me, I am ever crying because I was a crier. And almost everyone knew there's this new girl who is ever crying in school. So she was like, why are you crying? Do you see us cry? And at that point is when I was like, I need to grow up. So at least now I stopped crying all the time. But still, I was in denial. Like, I couldn't read Braille when they attempt like to start to teach me those things at the touch, at the do the dots and everything. I'm like, no, I can't see. Why are you teaching me these things? So I insisted on learning Braille, and I sometimes I tend to think that it really contributed on like my sight disappearing completely because I used to strain my eyes a lot. So, the first term was a waste. I did not learn anything in terms of Braille. So, because I was in denial, when it comes to exams, I want someone to read for me. I don't want to admit to accept that I can't see. So, someone would read for me. I answer my questions. Then yeah, that is how we did the first term. The other term also, I insisted I can see me. I just used to tell the teachers I can see. Wow, yeah, now at this point, I guess also the teachers were like, now that you insist you can see, it's time for you now to be independent. So I remember that time they told me, since you can see, you are going to do the exam by yourself. No one is going to read for you. So I remember I did some exams, but because I was struggling, we used to have a computer room. I was taken to the computer room. They now like enlarge the computer is used now to enlarge the print so that now I could at least read the large print. But now the problem was I used to tear a lot. My eyes used to tear a lot because of the light from the computer. So well, I managed to do all the exams, but you see now, yes, I can do the mathematics, English, but when it comes to composition you have to write, there's no abcd. So I did my composition, I struggled, but yeah, at the end of the exams I failed, of course, terribly. I was among the last people. So when I went home that holiday, my guardian was really mad. She was like, we cannot go on like this. You really have to improve. The only reason I took you in was because I see your potential. I know you're bright. I know you're capable of doing well in school. So unless you improve on your grades, I am not sure I'm able to help you. So after that conversation, when we went back in January now, I was supposed to go to class 7, but considering my grades, me not knowing Braille, my sight is still poor. So the teachers were like, you can't can't proceed to the next class. So I was forced to repeat. And it was at this point when I was like, now I need to be serious. So I embraced Braille. I used to be taught Braille after classes, after I think four, after four, around 4 p.m. I used to be taught Braille at that time. I had a teacher assigned for that. And then also during prep time, in the evening, at this point I had made friends. No, so I had friends who used to teach me Braille in the evening during preps. So slowly by slowly, I learned my Braille. When it comes to the end of term exams, that term I did my exams, I passed so well. I was number three, so I passed so well, and I was happy. My teachers were happy. My guardian was happy. So at this point, I fully embraced the new life. I could still see because I used to walk by myself, take myself to the dormitory, go to the dining, everything I used to do by myself. But now the reading was the problem. So I finished, went to class 7, went to class 8, did my national exams, passed. Well, I was number 2 in our class. I was the second. So yeah, and I proceeded to high school. Yes, I guess I'll catch you on the next episode now on my life now after finishing primary and high school.